You know, the big thing about wheat diseases, Brian, is when are they going to hit? There's early season diseases, there's ones that come in the middle of the summer, and then of course there's some that come late after heading. So how do you put together that disease program and where do you start?
Okay, well, in my opinion, it's all going to start with seed treatment. And you can tell the big sigh that I had there because I just say, oh man, every year I know we're going to have disease in wheat. I know we're going to have it early. I know we're going to have it mid-season. I know we're going to have it late. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is in wheat. We have a lot of disease issues that pop up. Perhaps the worst one that has arrived here in just the last few years has been stripe rust. Now, rust typically does not survive in the northern part of the country. It has to blow in from the south every year, and this particular version of rust, stripe rust, I think is the worst.
Well, it did survive last winter. We had a really mild winter and the temperatures didn't get so cold, and we had enough cover out there that the stripe rust made it through, and we had some issues, especially in the Pacific Northwest. But you know, it's one of those things that I can't guarantee you that's not going to happen again this year. So you have to be prepared to control stripe rust, whether it's early or late. The biggest thing to take out of this segment that we're talking about right now is that our fungicides that you're going to spray foliar on wheat, well, they just aren't that good. And you have to get these diseases stopped before you even see them on the plant if you want to be the most effective.
In other words, what Darren is saying here is fungicides are preventative. And occasionally you'll hear some fungicide manufacturer talk about how their fungicide has curative properties. Well, it does, but slight curative properties. You can't let diseases get going into your crop, otherwise you're going to have yield loss for sure. So again, when we're talking about diseases, it starts with a really good seed treatment. We want to make sure we've got good protection right on that seed. And then we've got 3 different timings we can spray during the season, or that we would recommend spraying during the season with fungicide on wheat.
Well, at herbicide timing, it's a great time to put a foliar fungicide right in when you're already out there spraying. Why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone and get 2 jobs done at the same time?
But are those foliar fungicides going to be good enough to stop stripe rust?
Well, it depends on which ones you're going to choose, of course. Now, some are going to be better than others. What we typically would do if we had some stripe rust in the area already, if you were, say, in the Pacific Northwest and they say, you know what, we had another mild winter, we had some survive, the universities are really watching for this kind of thing, then I would change up what I'd normally do. Because you may get by with something like just a straight propiconazole very early on just for some tan spot help. But if you've got some stripe rust in your area, you may say, you know what, I better switch up. I'm going to go to Quilt or Stratego or one of those types of products, Twin Line, to try and get a combination.
Yeah, but you're probably not going to do that at herbicide timing. Twin Line, that's what I'd rather save that for when I have flag leaf. So what would you do herbicide timing? Probably just straight headline or quadris or something like that, wouldn't you say?
Well, you certainly could, but again, it just depends on what kind of disease pressure you have, because you know most of these products get lumped into one category of, oh, it's a strobilurin. Okay, well then it must be similar to what headline is. Well, there are some differences. Some diseases, quadris may be better on than headline, and vice versa.
Yeah, but all these products are pretty darn good on stripe rust and many of the other diseases as long as you're spraying ahead of time. So again, our 3 timings are going to be herbicide timing, flag leaf, and then at heading. And at heading, that's when you're going to have to switch to a straight triazole product, something like Prosaro or Caramba. Those products will be great on stripe rust or other rusts, but they'll also give you fairly decent activity on head scab.
And you can't use the strobilurins anymore. So headline, quadris, Avito, you can't use those at heading because you'll increase the vomitoxin levels or the DON levels in your wheat.
Okay, so the reason why we're bringing this up today, I realize it's going to be a while before you're spraying a fungicide, but we wanted you to be thinking about varieties that you might pick for your farm. Some of them have more tolerance to certain diseases than others. So if you're going to be planting spring wheat anytime soon and you're thinking about varieties, just try to pick ones that have good disease tolerance, and then this is less of an issue, but you still have to keep scouting and be prepared to spray a fungicide.
Another thing you may be scouting for is our Wheat of the Week. Can you identify this week's wheat?